Wake up, YouTube. So this is a match I had the other day against the Quiff, and I really like it because it helps emphasize how important late game is. A lot of people will tell you, have a strong lead off, win the hazard war, and that's really important. But it's also really important to make sure that when late game comes, you execute your plan well and you actually win. Because oftentimes, if you don't, the other person will actually make a comeback and end up beating you when you thought you had the game in the bag. So let's get started. I lead off with Rotom, just, my standard lead, and he leads off with his Rotom as well. And both of us actually end up going for Will-O-Wisp first turn because both of us saw switch into maybe Excadrill or Landorus. And now here, he sees me, he thinks I'm going to bring in Excadrill. So he switches out. He doesn't use Volt Switch, but I use Will-O-Wisp to catch the switch in, and I see a Ferrothorn. Now, I know Magnezone can trap Ferrothorns and kill them fast before they set up too many hazards, so I use Volt Switch to make sure that he doesn't switch into a counter, and I end up switching into Magnezone. Now, he ends up setting up Spikes, which is a really interesting play, because he basically just told me that he doesn't have Stealth Rock on his Ferrothorn, because most of the time, the first hazard people use is Stealth Rocks. However, I didn't recognize it when I was playing this game, so that actually has me misplay a bit with Excadrill, because now that his Ferrothorn's dead, I think that all of the hazards are gone, and that I can sack Excadrill after getting a spin on. So he U-turns out, goes into a counter like Clefable, because he sees the Will-O-Wisp coming, and Will-O-Wisp actually misses on Clefable, so I decide to use Pain Split, just get some health back, as he ends up going for Heal Bell to heal his Rotom and anything else on his team with status. Now, I really don't like this matchup against Clefable, so I have Rotom Volt Switch out into something that can handle Clefable and just sort of see what it can do. I bring in Excadrill because I know I can 2-hit KO Clefable, scare it out, and get a Rapid Spin on the switch. So he uses Wish, and I decide to go for Rapid Spin because I don't know if he has Protect or not. Turns out he has Predict. No big deal, he has health back, I can 2-hit KO him. So I see a switch coming, I decide to Rapid Spin, get some stuff off my side of the field. Now, interestingly enough, I have my Balloon up, so unless his Landorus has Superpower, which it probably doesn't, because it has lefties, I decide to, I really don't need to fear this Landorus. So I decide to go for Stealth Rocks as he U-turns to break my Balloon. Now here I made a big misplay. I thought, hazards are gone from my side of the field. He has hazards on his side of the field. Maybe his Excadrill isn't Choice Scarf. What if I go for Earthquake, try to kill it? As it turns out it was Choice Scarf, he kills my Spinner. Still not too big of a problem, because theoretically there are no hazards, but as you'll see here, because I didn't predict that another Pokemon on his team had Stealth Rock, I decide to go into something like Rotom as he makes, or if he sets up Stealth Rock. So right now, I'm in a really bad situation because I have rocks on my side of the field and my Spinner is dead. So at this point in the game, he should be smiling because he completely, beat me, completely outplayed me, and won the hazard war essentially. So, and he probably is, but at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, it's important to close out the late game, as you'll see. So now he uses Volt Switch as I try to get some health back, and ends up going into Excadrill, because Mold Breaker Earthquake will KO Rotom. However, I live the burn, and he uses Rapid Spin, and tries to get rocks off the side of his field. And you think that's a good play, he has rocks off. Except, now that my Spinner's dead, I really need a comeback, so I'm trying to think of what can I do to get a Pinsir sweep. And he has 2 checks on his team to Pinsir, Excadrill and Landorus. And by leaving Excadrill locked into Rapid Spin, he allows Magnezone to come in, prevent Excadrill from switching out, and 3-hit KO it with Flash Cannon, which is really nice because I just killed Excadrill, and that was one of the 2 checks to my team. So even though I lost the hazard war, if I can kill Landorus now that Excadrill's dead, I can get a Pinsir sweep going and win. He uses knockoff because he thinks I'm going to switch into Talonflame or whatever, but because of the misplay, I'm able to use Flash Cannon and severely damage Landorus. Now that Landorus is so damaged, and I know that now that I know all 4 of its moves, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, U-turn, and shit, whatever the fourth move was, I know that he definitely does not have Stone Edge. It was not. So I actually used that opportunity to set up Swords Dance, and at this point, he should be really scared, because I actually have a Pinsir at +2 that can destroy most of his team if he doesn't play carefully with Landers. But he ends up sacking it to Pinsir, trying to get some Intimidate damage. So even though I lost the Hazard War, because he sacked, or he misplayed with the 2 counters at 2 to Pinsir, I'm able to set up Pinsir and end up hit KOing the rest of his team. So I hit KO Charizard, and I'm just gonna kill Clefable when it comes back in. So in hindsight, that's really the big takeaway from this match. He won the Hazard War, he has stuff up on his team, and he has 2 counters to Pinsir. But because he misplayed with both of them, I was given the opportunity to set up Pinsir and to sweep his team. So, see you guys next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe.